Hi guys, today is Tuesday, March 31st, and today is the very last day in the month of March. So that means tomorrow on Wednesday, a new month will start. Do you know what month comes after March? Say the months with me and we will figure that out. January, February, March, April. April 1st will be tomorrow, and April 1st is known as April Fool's Day. And April Fool's Day is a day where you just play a funny prank on somebody. You fool someone. That's why it's called April Fool's Day. So you try to play a little joke or a prank on someone. So Kaylin usually tries to think of something. So I'll let you know if something crazy happens in our house tomorrow. But yesterday we started reading our new book, Dinosaurs Before Dark, in our new chapter book. It's from the series Magic Treehouse. And remember yesterday, Jack and Annie were walking home. Annie kind of ran off and she found a rope ladder, and she wanted to climb up the rope ladder. But Jack wasn't too interested. He was a little afraid. He knew that they should have been going home. They weren't where they were supposed to be, and they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So Jack was a little hesitant. But he did climb up the rope ladder with Annie, and it led to a really cool treehouse. And in the treehouse, there were lots of different kinds of books. It said old books and new books, and lots of books that just had bookmarks in them. And so one of the books that Jack read yesterday, that we read about Jack reading yesterday, was a book about dinosaurs. And I looked up how you say the name of that dinosaur, and it's a pteranodon. Pteranodon. I'll even link a little song I found when I was looking up how to say it today. So I will link that for you today. Just it's a really short one, just kind of fun. Kind of shows you what the dinosaur looks like. So anyway, he was reading the book about the dinosaurs, and all of a sudden Annie looked out the window, and what did she see flying in the air? The pteranodon. And shortly after they saw the dinosaur flying through the air, do you remember what happened? It said the treehouse was spinning. And Jack was holding on, squeezed his eyes shut, and he was holding on to Annie, and then all of a sudden everything stopped. And it was still. And Jack looked around, and Annie was there, and all the books were there, and the backpack was there, and they were still in the treehouse. But one thing was different. They were not in the same tree. They were not in the same place. They were not in their home or in the area, the forest, or wherever they were at. That was not where they had originally came from. So they were in a new place, to sum that up. They were in somewhere different. They didn't know where they were at. So chapter 3 today is called Where Is Here? So I think they're going to figure out where they are at now. Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture in the book. He looked back out the window. The world outside and the world in the picture, they were exactly the same. The pteranodon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. Ferns are just a green plant. There was a winding stream, a sloping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. Where are we? Stammered Jack. The pteranodon glided down to the base of their tree. The creature coasted to a stop and stood very still. What happened to us? Said Annie. She looked at Jack, and he looked at her. I don't know, said Jack. I was looking at the picture in the book, and you said, wow, I wish I could see a pteranodon for real, said Annie. Yeah, and then we saw one in the Frog Creek woods, said Jack. Yeah, and then the wind got loud and the treehouse started spinning, said Annie. And we landed here, said Jack. And we landed here, said Annie. So that means, said Jack. So that means what? Said Annie. Nothing, said Jack. He shook his head. None of this can be real. Annie looked out the window again. But he's real, she said. He's very real. Jack looked out the window with her. The pteranodon was standing at the base of the oak tree, like a guard. His giant wings were spread out on either side of him. "Hi!" Annie shouted. "Shh!" said Jack. "We're not supposed to be here." "But where is here?" said Annie. "I don't know," said Jack. "Hi!" Annie called again to the creature. The pteranodon looked up at them. "Where is here?" Annie called down. "You're nuts. He can't talk," said Jack. "Maybe the book can tell us." Jack looked down at the book. He read the words under the picture. This flying reptile lived in the Cretaceous period. It vanished 65 million years ago. No, impossible. They couldn't have landed in a time 65 million years ago. "Jack," said Annie, "he's nice." "Nice?" "Yeah, I can tell. Let's go down and talk to him." "Talk to him?" Annie started down the rope ladder. "Hey!" shouted Jack, but Annie kept going. "Are you crazy?" Jack called. Annie dropped down to the ground. She stepped boldly up to the ancient creature. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that the creature is going to be nice and help them? Or is the creature going to be mean? Think about that. Turn and tell someone next to you, if somebody's watching with you, what do you think? Make a prediction. Will the dinosaur be nice and helpful, or will he just be mean to the kids? What do you think? Turn and tell someone. All right, let's see. This is chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Henry. I wonder who Henry will be. Jack gasped as Annie held out her hand. Oh, brother, she was always trying to make friends with animals, but this was going too far. "Don't get close to him, Annie," Jack shouted. But Annie touched the pteranodon's crest, which is right at the top of his head. Let me see if I can show you. The crest is this part of his head. But Annie touched the pteranodon's crest. She stroked his neck. She was talking to him. What in the world was she saying? Jack took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. It would be good to examine the creature, take notes, like a scientist. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he got to the ground, Jack was only a few feet away from the creature. The creature stared at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. "He's soft, Jack," said Annie. "He feels like Henry." Jack snorted. "He's no dog, Annie." "Feel him, Jack," said Annie. Jack didn't move. "Don't think, Jack. Just do it." Jack stepped forward. He put out his arm very cautiously. He brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting. A thin layer of fuzz covered the pteranodon's skin. "Soft, huh?" said Annie. Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook. He wrote, "Fuzzy skin." See? Fuzzy skin. He's taking notes. "What are you doing?" asked Annie. "Taking notes," said Jack. "Please stop." People think they're funny. Okay, sorry. He wrote "fuzzy skin." "What are you doing?" asked Annie. "Taking notes," said Jack. "We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real live pteranodon." Jack looked at the pteranodon again. The creature had a bony crest on top of his head. The crest was longer than Jack's arm. "I wonder how smart he is," Jack said. "Very smart," said Annie. "Don't count on it," said Jack. "His brain's probably no bigger than a bean." "No, he's very smart. I can feel it," said Annie. "I'm going to call him Henry." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Small brain." Small brain with a question mark. Why do you think he put a question mark after he wrote small brain? Well, he probably wrote the question mark because he said, he's wondering. Sorry, I keep moving this. He's wondering, does he have a small brain? He's wondering if he's smart. So question mark, maybe something he's going to figure out later. But here we go with the picture of the dinosaur again. This is a better picture of the crest. So he said this is longer than Jack's arm. So do you think that the pteranodon is probably a very large animal? Yes, I would say so. If just this part of his head is bigger than Jack's arm, then I would assume, or I would guess, that the rest of his body is probably very large. So he is probably bigger than a person. Or maybe about the size of an adult, maybe? I don't know. Just a guess. Just thinking. Jack looked at the creature again. Maybe he's a mutant, he said. The creature tilted his head. Annie laughed. He's no mutant, Jack. Well, what's he doing here then? Where is this place? Said Jack. Annie leaned close to the pteranodon. Do you know where we are, Henry? She asked softly. The creature fixed his eyes on Annie. That means he's looking right at Annie. His long jaws were opening and closing like a giant pair of scissors. Are you talking to me, Henry? Asked Annie. Forget it, Annie, Jack wrote in his notebook. Mouth like scissors. Wrote it again. Mouth like scissors with another question mark. Did we come to a time long ago, Henry? Asked Annie. Is this a place from long ago? Suddenly she gasped. Jack! He looked up. Annie was pointing toward the hill. On top stood a huge dinosaur. And that's the end of chapter 4. So tomorrow we will read chapter 5, Gold. It's called Gold in the Grass. So they've seen the pteranodon, which is the dinosaur that Jack saw in the book, and now they've seen a new dinosaur. So in the book, when they were reading about the pteranodon, it said that the pteranodon is a flying reptile and it vanished 65 million years ago. So do you think that what has happened is that they have gone back 65 million years to when dinosaurs lived on the earth? It does say this is called a magic treehouse. Magic treehouse. So do you think that the treehouse is magical and it has taken them back to dinosaur times? I don't know. We'll find out. Tomorrow we will read chapter 5 and chapter 6, and we will see what is going to happen next. I can't wait. So I hope you all have a great day. And remember, on Friday, 11 o'clock, we will have our next classroom Zoom meeting. And I will send information out about that on Wednesday and on Thursday. But if you are able to come to the meeting, we're going to do a show and tell. So show and tell is when you bring something that you would like to share, and you get to, each person's going to go around and they're going to tell us what they brought and why they chose that. So it might be your favorite toy. It might be a picture of your family, something that is maybe important to you. It might be just something cool that maybe you've made while we have been at home. It can be anything that you want, anything at all. Maybe it's your pet. Maybe it's your brother or your sister. I don't know, whatever you want. It's totally up to you. That's part of the fun of meeting on Friday and having show and tell. We never have show and tell at school, so be creative or just anything. I know Mylan always has cool stuff to show us, and Gabriella always has really cool stuff. I'm trying to think, who else has brought stuff in? A lot of you guys have brought just little things, and that is basically like a show and tell. When you show us what it is, tell us what it is. And on Friday, we're going to tell why you chose that item or person or pet or whatever it was to show it. So think about what you can bring to show us, because I can't wait to see what you all bring. You're all very creative and have awesome things at home to show. So I'm looking forward to that. So again, that'll be Friday at 11. Tomorrow, next 2 chapters in our book, and I will see you then. Bye.